Caswell. My thing was my two objects was a joke book and cotton balls, and I wrote a story called Jokeville. It's about this guy named Johnny and his two friends who try to escape this dome where they can only use words from a joke book, and if they don't, they die from cotton balls. Have fun listening to this. Ville by Matthew McCauley. Hey, my name's Johnny, and I live in the great town of Jokeville. Well, Jokeville's the only place I've ever been, besides strip clubs. When I was just a baby, my parents took me to Florida, well, Tallahassee exactly, to go to Florida State University to see my first ever idiot. But something happened that day. Some say God did it, some say the government did it. But Florida was covered in a dome, and no one could get in or out. Before this all happened, Jokeville wasn't called Jokeville, it was Jacksonville. But once the dome happened, the city was put into 16 sections, and Jokeville became the name. I was never allowed out of Jokeville because my uncle went out to Joke City and never came back. But this week, me and my friends Tony and Joe are going to sneak out of this town and try to escape the dome. There are only 3 rules in the dome. You can only say the words from the joke book, or you choke to death on cotton balls. All cities and towns must be named after a joke, words. And if you want to write a word that wasn't in the joke book, you must write it down on a piece of paper. Day 1. Tony, Joe, and I are picking up all our stuff. We told our parents we were going to a party, and they believed us. They always thought I was going to get drunk and see a couple titties, but no. I'm going to escape this dome. We leave when the clock hits 8 p.m. and never look back. Joe writes on a piece of paper. We all nod our heads. The time turns 8 o'clock, and we're all in my car since I turned 16 2 weeks ago. We started driving to Jokahassee, where this all started. Suddenly, 5 men pop out of nowhere, and they say, "Hey, why did the chicken cross the road?" And I say, "I don't know." He said, "So we can die." And the man started choking on cotton balls because the joke wasn't in the joke book. The 4 men look in disbelief how their one member of the gang died. And I see the perfect opportunity to leave, so I step on the gas pedal and we start going. They start shooting guns at us like it was like a teacher giving us a test. But I got braced in the arm by a bullet, but I'll never forget the image I saw right beside me. It was Tony. He got shot in the head. He was dead, just laying right there, like how the Cleveland Browns were in 2016. It was terrible. I started bawling my eyes and just kept on stepping on the gas pedal. We'll go over to an abandoned motel where it seems like there's been a bunch of hookers. We dumped Tony's body in the river. The river was dumped with dead bodies. We call it the Dead River because of all that. Me and Joe stayed in an abandoned hotel room where there was a bunch of used condoms. I started crying the rest of the night, but we stayed the rest of the night. It was a very sad night. Day 2. When me and Joe woke up the next morning, there was a book in our room. It was called the Dome Joke Book. And we read this book. We read this book in grade school, but it was handwritten, this one. The book was all the same until the end. There was a new sentence. On April 20th, 420, year 2069, Donald Trump and God will appear on the top of Hard Joke Stadium in Joke, Miami. Whoever gives them the joke book will be granted their freedom and are allowed to bring 3 people with them. The rest of the people who didn't find this will choke on cotton balls and die. I look at Joe and I don't say to him, but I nod my head and I grab him and we drive to Joke, Miami. There are people killing each other everywhere. Dead bodies on the streets. But there's one thing I forgot when I remembered. I forgot the joke book. Just like that time when I forgot a condom. Joe looks at me and he says, "What? You forgot it?" That's like forgetting the most basic joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. So when we start driving back to abandoned hotel with all the hookers. Those 4 men appear and they write on a piece of paper, "Hey, we know where you have the joke book." And write back, "No, I don't." With Joe seeing what the 4 armed men, Joe starts speaking. He gets choked to death on cotton balls. He looks dead on the ground, just like how Will Ferrell's acting career goes. I start crying. I write back, "I don't know where it is now, but maybe I can help you guys." The 4 men look at me and they start laughing. 2 of the 4 men were laughing. They start speaking to each other and they forgot they have to say words from the joke book. So the 2 men die, start choking on the cotton balls. And I grab a gun and I shoot one of the men, but the one man attacks me and tries having a knife. But the one man forgot one thing. He left the safety off, and the gun shoots. Boom, boom. Now he's dead, laying like a lifeless body, just like Johnny Manziel's football career, dead. And I steal a car and I drive back to the hotel, grab the joke book, and I come back. Seeing those dead bodies just reminds me how things are. Look up and there's a hooker looking at this whole crime scene. So I stole a car from them. The hooker and her pimp try hitting me with their bag, but I get away fast. I realize it's 8 o'clock at night and there's no point driving back to Jokeville. So I stay the night at the abandoned hotel with hookers knocking on my door 24/7. 3. With the stolen car, I drive back to Joke Miami with the joke book. I thought to myself, why I'm still alive? Why are all my friends dead? I thought to myself for a minute, but I realized I can get my family out of here. So I drove to Hard Joke Stadium and I saw Donald Trump and God. I gave them the joke book and they said, "Who do you want to leave the dome with?" And I said back, "I want to leave with my mom, my dad, Lauren Descalio." She's a hot Instagram model, just saying. Check her Instagram page out. And we all left the dome alive, happily ever after.